This conference will now be recorded.
So thanks Jiva for submitting the assignment. Thanks a lot for that. So what about rest? Where are you guys on that? So tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and coming Saturday and Sunday. So please be ensured that you have been completed all the assignments. And also, I think you are at 20th section, right? So probably tomorrow is the 21st section. So this all 21 sections, we should be revamped completely. You need to be have a glance over that and write a questions, right? Go through the interview questions, search it on Google. Any extra topic is required for this respective services, right? All these things you need to take in homework on the coming Saturday and Sunday, right? It's very important. So later point of time you guys can able to perform all the activities, right? One after another. So that is one main important thing that you guys need to make a note on it. Okay. So today going to this, we'll be entering into the concept of right. We'll be entering into the concept of S3 buckets. So you have been discussing about the features of S3 bucket, and also you have been discussing about right. What is the purpose you guys are using for the respective S3 bucket, right? These two things you have been using here, right? So now here you've been entering into the S3 bucket. Just give me a second. I'm just entering my credentials over here. Hope you guys are able to view my screen. Now we'll entering into the concept of S3 bucket here, right? Go for the services. Go for the S3. So now the bucket name should be unique across all the regions, right? Across the region, the bucket name should be unique, right? The bucket name should be unique across the region here. So now here you've been entering into the right now here you've been entering into the concept of the creation of the bucket, and you guys are going to be notice the right features that you have, like like versioning, and also like you have been using the features of right life cycle for your respective storage environment, and also cross region duplication, right? These things you guys are going to be discussed here. So now creation of the bucket. So this name should be unique across all the respective regions, right? Across all the respective region here. This name should be unique. So now here you have been creating the respective unique tags. So Mithun Technologies, right? Mithun Technologies, and providing the followed by the providing the number here, right? If you want to copy the data, that means the data is already exist in your existing bucket. And if you want to copy the data, you should use this, choose the bucket and grab the data from that specific bucket, right? Grab the data from that specific bucket. Now here you've been using the block public access setting for this bucket. This is very important. Unless until you guys are going to be expose your respective few of the images, or you guys are exposing the respective video content, then only you can able to, right? Then only you can able to uncheck this public access for the bucket. So versioning is very important to manage your respective files, right? Versioning is very important to manage your respective files here. So to avoid the overwrite of your respective same file, right? The versioning is very important, right? The versioning is very important. to avoid the overwriting of the existing file. The versioning is very important here, right? And the second main important thing that you guys need to understand here is, once you guys have created the bucket, how to, right, how to enable this respective, right, how to enable this respective thing here. So now you need to understand about the, now you guys need to understand about the, how to upload this respective content, prod icon, app icon, server side encryption, as well as you have a client side encryption here. So server side encryption here is, you have two kinds of encryptions here, server side encryptions and the client side. So server side encryption is the data which is going to be presented on your, right, the data which is going to be presented on your S3 bucket is going to be encrypted. Suppose the end user has been, right, uploading the data which is in plain text format. If you choose the server side encryption after uploading the content, it's going to be, after uploading the content, it's going to be encrypted your respective data. It's going to be encrypted for your respective data. Right? Encrypted your respective data here. So that is one main important. This is called server side encryption here. Right? Uploading to your respective data. This is called server side encryption here. Whereas client side encryption, in the sense, the data which is already encrypted while uploading itself, right? The data is already encrypted. The data is already encrypted while uploading itself, right? That is called client side encryption. That is called client side encryption here. So like that, you need to understand about the client side encryption as well as server side encryption. Am I clear on this? What is the purpose of, what is the meaning of client side and what is the meaning of server side encryption? Any questions, any doubts here? Any confusion? Right? These are the main two important things, guys. Right? These are the two main important things that you guys need to understand. So now here you need to enable the server side encryption, the data which is going to be stored in the respective S3 bucket is going to be encrypted. As of now, you guys can use the KMS here. And what is the KMS? What is the purpose of the KMS? We'll discuss here, right? By using the, right, by using the AWS managed, by using the AWS managed, that is one thing you guys need to use here at this moment. And later point of time, once you guys are, right, later point of time, once you guys understand about the KMS, right, we're going to create our own KMS here. We're going to create our own KMS here. Right? That is one thing you guys can able to use here. So now here, the object lock, while uploading any kind of data, while uploading any kind of data, right, while uploading any kind of data, if suppose few of the object got locked actually, right, this is going to be created an issue, right, of your respective application side actually. So application is trying to uploading any kind of object. If suppose the objects are going to be locked, right, the objects are going to be locked. To re-upload that respective content, you need to be disable this object, respective objects actually, right? So this is one main important thing, disable this object lock. So now you have created the respective S3 bucket, right? You have created the respective S3 bucket. So now this is one main important thing here. This is how you guys are going to be. So there is one important interview question. So what is the meaning of object log action in the S3 bucket? Object log in S3 bucket. So you need to object log in the S3 buckets. It will help you to store the data, or it will help you to the store the. It will help the. It will help you the. It will help us to store the objects. To store the objects by using the scenario call, by using the theory call, by using warm. Write once, read many. Call this one as an write once, read many. Right, write once and read many. Write once and read many model here. So now here you can use this respective object logs where you have a scenario of imperative that data actually. Imperative that data is not changed or deleted after it has been written. Imperative the data, right? Imperative the data is not changed, right? Imperative the change data is not changed or deleted, is not changed or deleted, right? After it has written, it has been written. This is one typically it has been written. This is one typical interview question, frequently asked interview question, right? This is one thing. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts here? What is the object lock in the S3 bucket? And you have enabled the respective versioning. You have enabled the created the bucket with a unique name, and you have been enabled the respective feature called server side encryption, followed by the right, followed by the respective AWS managed KMS key. What features you have enabled? Right, what features you have enabled? The first thing, you have enabled the versioning. The second thing, right? The second thing, you have enabled the feature called encryption, right? By using the AWS key manage actually, key manage services, key manage services. You have used the server side encryption or client side encryption. You have used here while creating server side encryption. You have used, right? Server side encryption you have used, and also you have been disable the object locks here. So you know what is the meaning of object locks? It will follow the warm scenario, write once, read many, right? By being used, the imperative the data is not going to be changed or deleted after it has been written, based upon the request of your respective developer, whether he wants this kind of feature or not. If he asks us to enable, we should enable, or if he asks us to disable, we need to disable. But at this moment, you have disabled the data here. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? The one which you have created as table, right? This is one main important thing, guys. And second thing that you guys need to understand here. Now, you also enable one more thing. What is the fourth point? Fourth and valid point I have missed here. The protection wise, right? I disable the complete, right? Disable the public access actually. Disable the public access actually, right? Disable the public access actually. Disable the public access actually. I disable the public access here. This is one main important thing, right? Disable the respective public access here. So you cannot able to access this respect to S3 bucket in the right in the you cannot able to access the respect to S3 bucket in the publicly, right? Publicly. That is one thing, right? That is one main important. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Pramod, Jiva?
Pramod, Shanmugh, I have doubt.
Yeah,
See,
Jiva.
what is the difference between S3 and EFS then? So I think everything should be kind of, secure one, right? And also this also sharing across the client as well as the EFS also across and this also secure there, that also secure. So what is the main difference between S3 and EFS then in this case? And
Okay.
also
What type
what
of
about
storage? Go ahead.
what as my understanding, like the S3 bucket is we can use for the backup purpose compared to one difference I can understanding as per my but just I want to more clear on this.
Can Pramod, you can answer what is this? Why S3 is different with the EFS, or why S3 is different with EVS?
Lifecycle management.
No, cycle management also is there here. Anyone. What is the main difference?
So this will be taken care by full of kind of AWS storage part full in and out.
S3 is unlimited.
Yeah, kind of. This is what kind of storage is this actually? Whether it's an object level storage, it's a block level storage.
Object level.
What is object level storage here? One guy said, what is object level storage here? It's an unstructured data. Exactly, Udaya. This is an object level storage actually. This is an object level storage actually. Right? You cannot make the file system. You can make the file system. There is a way to make the file system. You can enable the bucket S3 bucket into a file system. You can convert this respective bucket into a file system, and you can attach that respective bucket to your EC2 as well. That is also possible. But this is completely designed in a perspective of object level storage, which is an unstructured data. Unstructured data in the sense there is no specific file system is going to be there. There is no you cannot attach to your respective S3 bucket directly to your EC2 instances, and there is a huge latency if you guys are going to be attached when compared to the EFS and EBS. And EBS and EFS is specifically designed to enable the storage environment for your EC2, whereas S3 is specifically designed to enable your respective right object level storage. You can store the videos, you can store the images, you can store your logs, you can use this S3 as an backup. This is an object level storage, which means it does not make a file system. There is an other alternative way to enable the plugins of the S3 and to make S3 as a file system, and then you can attach the EC2. But those lengthy procedure is not required for us, because when you are into having an already EBS and EFS volumes. You got my point, what I'm trying to say, Jeevan. This is specifically designed in a perspective of object level storage, whereas EBS and EFS has been designed in a perspective of block level storage. Right? They have an operating system. They have an operating system file systems. For example, ext2, ext3, ext4, and XFS. Right? They can directly attach it to your respective right EVS volume you can attach to the EC2. EFS you can attach it to the EC2. That is a traditional way of using your storage environment. But if you want to convert S3 bucket into a block level storage, you need to use the third party plugins actually, right? Which is an only for the AWS corporate, and which is not recommendable to attach to the EC2 instance, and which causes the latency also. Am I clear? Any questions here? Right? Jiva and Pramod and others. Any questions here? That is the main difference between the S3 as well as EBS. So the next one here. So the next one here. So you need to ensure that, right? You guys need to ensure that how to upload your respective content, how to upload your respective content on your S3 bucket. So now here you need to upload a file here, add a file. So I'm going to be use a file called versioning here to make you guys understand. And here I would like to showcase the versioning output. So what is the purpose of versioning here? What does it do? Here I've been using the version 1.1. Right. Here I've been using the version 1.1. Here I've been using the version 1.1. So now here, just upload this respective version here. Add files, uploading the version here. Right, uploading the respective version here. Right, versioning.txt. Right, versioning.txt here. Just upload this one, respective one, versioning.txt. So now here the permissions as is granted the public access, no public access, and the properties here is, as I said earlier, this is the storage classes which are using. Standard intelligence tiering as well as data with charges as unknown access patterns greater than 3 availability zones. And here minimum duration there is no such kind of commitments, and minimum billable object size there is no. Right, whereas standard infrequency you have and greater than infrequently access data once in a month with milliseconds of access. And you have been this fast services, which means S3 storage environment backend has been spreaded across 3 availability zones, right? And the minimum storage duration, you should store the storage whatever the objects which are there in the S3 bucket minimum for 30 days, right? Minimum for 30 days, right? Minimum for 30 days. So now here you have the minimum billable object size is 128 KB, right? And monitoring and the auto scaling perspective is per GB free apply here. So now one zone availability. The name itself, you guys understand that this storage environment is only there in the one zone availability. Right? Recreatable infrequently accessed data once in a month. Storage in a single availability zone with milliseconds access. And only the one availability zone the storage environment is going to be there. Right? Only the one availability zone the storage environment is going to be there. And 30 days of your respective, like 30 days of your respective minimum storage environment, and 128 of KB of size, and per GB fuses here. And Glacier instance retrieval and long-lived archive data access once in a quarter within an instance retrieval in minimum seconds, and greater than 3 availability zones. 90 days at least 128K. So Glacier, what is archival of your respective mail? What does it do? What is the meaning of archival? When you suppose you have mail got archived, what does it do? What is the meaning of that? Guys? Archival. If suppose I want to archive something like, right, some mails I have archived. So what does it do? Okay,
Zipping the file.
exactly. Zipping the file action. It's stored into the zipping the file, right? This is one main important thing, right? Zipping the file here. Similarly, Glacier also will going to be helpful for you to zip your content action, to zip your respective content action. Whatever there, it's going to be zipped your respective content action, right? The content is going to be completely zipped and it's going to push to the Glacier storage environment whenever you want, right? For the banking organization, for inactive customers' data, right? They will not going to store in their actual production storage environment. Inactive customer data. They will going to zip and they're going to, right? They're going to zip and they're going to push to the respective S3. They're going to zip and they're going to push your respective S3. Like they're going to be pushed and they're going to be pushed to the respective S3 bucket. So that is one main important thing here. And now here you have a Glacier deep dive, long live data access less than a year with a retrieval of hours. Actually, this is the minutes to hours, right? So all these three glaciers, which is going to be zip your respective data on the backend, archive your respective data, right? Based upon your requirement, unwanted data, right? You can push to your respective, right? You can push your respective S3 bucket and reduce redundancy, non-critical frequently accessed data with milliseconds, right? Non-critical minimum access data with milliseconds actually. And S3 bucket is more cost effective, which is going to be greater than free availability zones at minimum storage use. There is no. But here, if you observe that the Glacier having the 90 days advantage. But generally, in the real-time environment, the frequently accessed data is going to push to the standard storage environment. Infrequent access storage is going to push to the 1A availability zone. Infrequently accessed data is going to push to the 1A availability zone. That's what these people are going to be ensure that. That's what is going to be ensure that here. Right? This is what they do. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts? Now the frequently accessed storage I'm been using here and server-side encryption that use default encryption key to encrypt my data and upload the respective file. Now this file got uploaded here. This is I have enabled the versioning to my respective S3 bucket. I have enabled the versioning to my S3 bucket. Right? I have enabled the respective versioning to my S3 bucket here. That is one main important thing. Versioning to the S3 bucket. That is one main important thing here. And secondly, right? And secondly, the main important thing here is, you guys need to understand about. If I'm change the version 1.2 and upload the same file, whether it will remove the previous one and re-upload to the new one, or whether it will take the backup of the previous one or upload the new one. What does it do actually? Versioning meaning actually. What is the basic meaning of versioning?
Taking the backup and
Yeah, right. That is what versioning do here. So we'll see here. Whether it's performing the same action or not, we'll see in that area. So I have used the versioning 1.2. I re-upload the same file here. So close the one and upload the new one. Add the files. So I'm been using the versioning here. So same permissions, specific storage, standard frequently storage I'm being used, and then upload here. So now here, if you observe that I have uploaded this respective file. Now, if I click on this respective versioning here, show versions, I will have a versioning.txt and versioning.txt here. Like this is what I do here. So that means this is my previous one and this is my existing one. If I want to make my previous one here, right? If I want to make my previous one to this one, to the current version, that is also going to be possible for me, right? Or else if you want to make one more versioning here, let's say suppose I'm been using the 1.3 here and re-upload, that is also versioning is going to be possible for me. Right? That is also possible for me. So show versionings. Now it's going to be 3 versions here. Current version, previous one, and more previous version here. Right? Those things are going to be there actually. Am I clear on this? Any questions, any doubts here? And you can go with the copy the URL and use the specific version as well. Right? Yeah, that is come through lifecycle model that I will discuss right away. Am I clear as of now, guys? As of now, how to create the S3 bucket, what is the purpose of versioning, and what is like object locks, and what is like the respective access management, what is encryption, what is server side encryption, what is client side encryption, right? Any questions, any doubts here as of now? So now here you guys need to understand. Now here you guys need to understand about the how to access this specific file here. How to access this specific file here. So I'm being this guy used the copy the URL here. There should be some specific URL, right? So this is the object URL. So have you ever checked the developer console of your Amazon.in website? How these guys are using? So if I click on any images, let's say suppose I click on this OE. So this is the developer console, right? This is the developer console. If I click on this one, these are all images, right? These are all images. These are all images actually. These are all images, right? So where this typically these images are going to be stored. This image I have showcased here. Where this typical images are going to be stored. These images are into 4K actually. You know, right? This is images are very clarity. So if you want to upload the 4K image on your respective EVS volume, the sizes is going to be very huge actually, isn't it? Can I make this 4K images, like plenty of images, bundle of images into an EVS volume? If suppose I want to choose my storage as my EBS volume, which is over the EC2 instance, what is the cost that I'm going to get in actually? Huge latency actually, isn't it? And those EBS volume can't shade all the app servers. You are not going to have only one app server, right? you guys going to have the multiple app servers, isn't it? Multiple app servers you guys are going to, right? Multiple app servers, isn't it? Multiple app servers you have. So these multiple app servers can't share one EBS volume. Now, Jiva, you got my point here. Where these images are, why the S3 bucket is only for the object level storage. You can use the same URL. You can call your respective URL actually from any of the API server. It's and also you're not putting pressure on your EC2 by uploading the huge content of data on your EBS. And these are the objects actually, right? These are objects. These are objects here. So like that, this URL is typically from your respective S3 bucket actually. From your respective S3 bucket. All these URLs are calling from you, whatever the images are there, right? Whatever the images are there, is calling from the respective S3 bucket. All these images are calling from the S3 bucket here. If you click on this one, these are the specific images actually. So in the S3 bucket, this is what this is what this one, HTTPS, this is the your respective image here, right? This is your respective images here. That is what it do. So now here, can I open this one directly the URL and I'm going this one? Can I open? No, actually. Why this is blocking actually? Why I cannot able to open this one? And what is the purpose? Need to use give the public access. Absolutely. Right? Need to give the public access. Now how to change this one? Only few of the buckets in the real-time environment, in the few of the buckets in the real-time environment, is going to be there to enable the public access. Right? Is going to be there to enable the public access. So now here go for the respective S3 bucket, go for the permissions. Right here you need to be enable this respective public access here. So go for the respective bucket, permissions, click on the edit, unblock your respective, uncheck your respective, block all public access and save it. Right. And now here you can use the specific policies as well as S3 bucket specific policies that I will discuss in our IAM section. So now here, can I go ahead and so still it has throwing the error access to net. Still it has throwing the error access to net. So you need to give the specific file as well, the permissions here. Go for the objects. Click on this one. Go for the permissions. Right. Go for the permissions here. So here you need to use the edit here. There is one thing actually. Generally, the file actions is not showing here. Make it as public here. It will help us to enable the object log disabled different key. Here we have and permissions to set to the public. Make public ACL here. The edit option is got disabled for this. Okay. The bucket has been enabled. So just give me a second. This should be showcase you changing the permissions here. Okay, let me re-upload. So open this one, right? So now you are able to access this one, right? This is what you guys are can able to perform this activity here. Once you can make the public access, right? So now these images, whatever this content or the images, you can able to get it into your respective API. Similarly, here you have an lifecycle rules as well. Like the way you have configured for the EBS, you have a lifecycle rules as well, right? Lifecycle rules as well. For example, you can push your respective content of data, right? You can push your respective content of the data. For this, you should enable an versioning actually. After some time, you can push your respective content of data to the infrequently accessed storage bucket to the 1A availability zone here. So prod hyphen lifecycle, right? Prod hyphen lifecycle, right? Prod hyphen lifecycle here. And you need to use the prefixes if you want the prefix or entire bucket also apply the all objects for the bucket also is going to be applicable. You can use the prefix only the specific type of the files and apply to all objects in the bucket. Like this rule can be able to pass you. So now here move current versions of the objects between the storage object. Move non-current versions, right? Move non-current versions here to 1A availability zones. Basically, what is the minimum days it required? 30 days actually. So put it as 30 and number of new versions to be retained. This is going to be optional, not required. Add this respective version here. What is the meaning here? Non-current version actions object became a non-current and 0 to newest non-current or retained. All other non-current versions to move to the one zone availability, one zone infrequently access, right? Once in a month. Infrequently accessed data. Only the specific versions are going to be there. The versions which are already having a 30 days, right? Greater than 30 days, it will going to be moved to the infrequency, one zone infrequency. Like that you can enable the right. Like that you can enable the right. Like that you can enable the prod life cycle. Right. Like that you can enable the prod life cycle. That's how you guys are going to be performing this respective activity here. Am I clear on this? How to enable the lifecycle policies and how to provide the access for your respective URLs. Any questions, any doubts here? So these are the basic things that you guys are going to be performing to the day-to-day operations here, right? Basic things you guys are going to perform the day-to-day operations here. So similarly, right? Similarly, you guys are going to be right. Similarly, you guys are also going to be understand about the respective replication rules as well. Only this S3 bucket, right? Only this respective S3 having the cross-region replication, and one more thing, you have the Aurora actually for your databases, right? Aurora for your respective databases. Aurora for your respective databases. That is one main important thing that you guys need to understand. Aurora for your respective databases. So cross-region replication. Cross-region replication here. So now here to create the replication factors from one region to another region, to create the replication factors from one region to another region, we should have the two buckets actually. One is with the source bucket and second one is the destination bucket. One is with your source bucket and second one is the destination bucket. You need to have source and destination buckets. You need to have. Coming to that, the source and destination bucket. So now here my source, where I have created my S3 bucket here. S3 bucket, the source I have been created on the 7756 on AP-South availability zone, right? On the Mumbai availability zone. So the next thing is you guys need to create your destination bucket. Next thing is you guys need to create your respective destination bucket on Singapore region. And the one factor you guys need to understand to create the or to enable the cross region replication, right? Cross region replication, right? To enable the cross region replication, you need to enable the right, you need to enable the versioning, right? You need to enable the versioning for both of the buckets. That means the source as well as destination bucket. Source and as well as destination bucket. It's source as well as destination bucket. Right? Source as well as destination bucket. We need to enable the versioning for both buckets as well as source as well as destination buckets. Both you need to enable the versioning. So now I have created the respective source bucket in the Mumbai region, and let me create the destination bucket in Singapore region. So what is the main objective here is you can get the respective S3 bucket on both of the respective regions. On the respective source is with Mumbai and the destination is with the Singapore. The destination is with the Singapore. So now here the content which is there in the Mumbai, it's going to be content is there in the respective Singapore. So if suppose Mumbai region having the any kind of issues, you can get the content from the Singapore region. This is one use case. If suppose Mumbai region is completely going to down, you can get the data from the Singapore region. And the replication factors are very fast actually, right? You can get the more replication factors, right? Very high level replication factors you can able to, right? So now here the bucket name is going to be prod hyphen respective destination and the 7767 or 69 whatever it is, and the AWS region should be I'm going to consider as in Singapore, which is my DR. So ACLs are going to be recommendable. You have enabled, so block all the public access. Enable the versioning, very important factor to enable the replications. Very important factor to enable the replications here. And add the tags. So name equal to destination bucket. Encryption is enabled on the server side encryption by using the KMS default KMS key. And you know what is the factor for the bucket key here, and the advanced settings is object log which has been disabled, right? So now here you have created the destination bucket as well. You have created the destination bucket as well. So now here you need to ensure that, right? You guys need to ensure that, right? You guys need to ensure that respective, right? The rule for both destination bucket, source bucket as well as destination bucket here. So now here go for the respective management. create the replication rule. Right, create the replication rule. Prod hyphen replication. Status is enabled here. Source bucket. Apply for the all buckets. Whatever the objects are there in the source bucket, should we go for the destination bucket? Here the destination bucket, I'm going to provide the prod hyphen destination. Prod hyphen destination here in the destination bucket. Like prod hyphen destination here. Right, prod hyphen destination here. Right. So now here, this is the replications. Replication time of control is replicate 99.9% of objects within 15 minutes. Provides the replication metrics. And all kind of notifications if you want, what kind of replication over the cloud watch metrics like monitoring, delete marker replications, right? You can get created by the S3 delete operations, any kind of delete operations, you'll get the notifications here, right? Any kind of replications like, any kind of changes of your respective policies or changes of lifecycle rules, all the things are going to be getting replication. And replica modifications factors. Destination bucket. If suppose someone has been changed, right, the destination bucket, those things also comes into the picture here. So now the replication is completely I have enabled, right, from the respective prod bucket to the destination bucket here. So you need to create an IAM role for these specifications here. So use the creator role, it will automatically create the specific role, whatever the role it wants to enable the replication factors from source bucket to the destination bucket and save it. It will take some time to replicate the data which is stored in the respective. You need to use existing replication options, existing data. You have uploaded one file. That file also going to be replicated here. Right. So now this is the new option here. So all tasks which has complete report, right? You will get what is the failed task and what kind of permissions here, right? All the failed tasks are going to getting the completely report for you, right? Whether the replication is happening or not. So it will going to be the path completion report is going to be stored in the respective replication factor here over the data. Whatever the generated report, it's going to be used this prod hyphen destination data here over this bucket. Now it will take some time to enable it. Now the replication factor is enabled here. Entire bucket you have been replicating from production here. To replicate it will take some time here to replicate the data. So still the objects are not replicated here. You should wait for it. Right? Any questions, guys? As of now, how to create any questions? How to enable the replication factors? How to change your lifecycle policies from your standard to infrequency or one zone availability? How to change these things? Any questions here?
In case of like let's say I have a like app where I want to use some specific file from the S3 bucket, so I'll be using this URLs always or any other mechanism?
Yes, yes. You need to share this respective URLs to your developer. Actually, you guys are going to create one S3 bucket and provided the access to the respective developer. They can fetch that respective URL and they can paste it over the respective their piece of to call this respective images. Yes, you can attach that. You can attach it. That is the next scenario that I'm going to discuss tomorrow. And also you can use S3 bucket as your static web page. That is also one thing, one use case for your respective S3. You can directly see now if you look at this is the job folder you have. So it's generating the report actually in the JSON format. I said right, Jiva, tomorrow I'm going to discuss that one. So this is the one, the job, what kind of activities had been performing, right? You can get this one. And let me upload one more thing actually. Add the files, I'm uploading already here. One document I have uploaded over the source. So let it take it will take some time to enable the replication factor from source to destination. Over the internet only. Obviously, there is a concept called MPLS actually. Via that, it's going to be shared the data over the internet only. They have a specific private community between connectivity between one region to another region. The data is completely going with the private endpoints, not with the public endpoints. Not with the public endpoints. Yeah, this is one main important thing here. So we'll wait for it till it got replicated here.
So how that is S3 bucket data are storing is through via tape or something like what their Amazon is using?
No, it's not tape kind of data. When you are using the infrequently access, it's a magnetic storage environment. It's a magnetic storage environment. When you are using infrequently, those things, they're magnetic storage environment. Right?
Oh.
So when you are using the standard, it is not a magnetic storage environment. Right? There's not a magnetic storage environment. That's how it's going to be. If you observe that now, you can find out this one in the destination already as well. Sorry, this is source. Still, it was not copied yet. In Singapore, right? So this is what it's going to be happen. It will take some time, but it will copy. Right. So we'll break it here and we'll continue the rest of the concept of S3. How to host your static website and how to attach to your S3 bucket into a disk of EC2 instances. And then we'll enter into the concept called IAM actually. Right. So any questions as of now, guys?
No, actually, I got one interview question. Just like in auto scaling, when you're doing the auto scaling, how we will increase the resources while doing the downtime?
Increase the resources. This is what else? What does
Hardware, increasing the hardware without any
change the
downtime.
launch template? Change the launch template and upload it and remove one after another.
Oh, actually, I explained the same by using the long jumps. He said that no, it's not the correct one. So I got out what is the exact one. I only asked him. He said that okay, you can refer in the Google.
Coming to the interview perspective, you need to satisfy the answer, the approach wise, it might be a different.
Okay.
In any of the changing of the resources, what you guys going to do? Firstly, you need to change the LANs template, right? And then you need to upload and change the version of the LAN template. You know how to do it, and remove the instances one after other, right?
Okay.
That is how it works, right? Not all at a time, one after other you need to remove so that your respective data will go into does not have any kind of effect. Increase
Yeah,
the
I
minimum,
done.
increase the minimum number of instances. Increase the minimum number of instances. Let's say suppose if you have 5 instances, go for 10, or if you have 10 instances, go for 15, and let your application is going to be settled down on your new hardware actually, and remove the older one. That is the best practice, right?
Okay.
That is the answer actually. See, the
Okay.
thing is, if that interviewer is not going to be, he's decided, I don't want to select this guy. Whatever question, whatever answer you said, this is going to be answered. In
Oh,
5 minutes
okay.
of, right? If the 5 minutes of initial discussion with your interviewer itself, you gave to know whether these guys are hitting professionally or whether these guys are considering it's very personal.
He nearly took 1 hour interview for me regarding Jenkins, Docker.
Right. So this is one thing actually. Nothing is there, right? You should ask him, rather than this, what you can go do,
Hey, I
or you
asked
can
him
switch.
to tell me the exact approach. He said that just refer
Or
in the Google.
then what is the point of asking this? Right. And one more thing, there's if you are using a Route 53, there is a concept called Route 53. In that concept, you have a weighted routing policy. Okay. In that weighted routing policy, you will going to be have an two load balances actually. Two load balancer is going to be distributed the traffic actually 50 to 50%. So while doing this kind of activities, make it as 100 percentage of your respective in the non-performed activity, and perform this activity on the respective primary one. Once you have completed, go for the secondary one.
Okay.
That is also one approach. There are different answers that is depending upon how good you are in AWS actually. This is only the standard way of doing yourself is not the right. AWS also having n number of factors to consider your respective services make you high availability actually. Right?
Okay.
It depends. It depends actually. So this is one of the answer. Or if you're not using then he going to say, I'm not using the weighted routing policies. I'm using simple routing policy. Right? I'm just using the simple routing policy. Then what is the point of going for the higher level? There is no point. This is kind of a debate actually. First 5 minutes of round, whether you guys are going to be getting the respective job or not, you guys are came to know actually.
Okay. The another interview question what I got is while creating an application using user data, if you just stop the instance, will the application will be started again or not?
Yes, when you enable the run level 3 in the script in the user data, when you enable the run level 3 actually, you can perform that action. Service will be enabled over the run level 3. That's why I use the command called check config. If you
Okay,
observe,
okay. Yeah, I simply said yes. He said that no, we can't do that.
then when you use the check config, yes, you can do.
Okay, okay, okay. I think I must mention this from next time. Check config.
Check config. That is what I said, right? Run level. Even though
Yes,
you have
yes.
restarted your respective instances, so the service should be up and running. Then you need to enable your respective service over the check config.
Okay,
See,
okay.
most of the if interview is very simple, guys. I'm telling you, right? Interview is very simple actually. When you are really enter into the concept of if there is a requirement, if there is a requirement, even though if you're not able to answer the few of the questions they will consider, because no one is perfect in this world.
Okay.
But if you are touching their respective ego, no one going to. So that is one way. Interview is first 5 to 10 minutes. You should be more polite, more obedient, and more requesting kind of. Then whatever answers you said is absolutely right because everyone should not going to think like that. If suppose you ask me to design the architecture, my VPC itself is a very huge complex one. No one will going to understand my VPC approach, the one which I have designed. Right? It may be convinced to some of the very great technical guys. It is not going to be convinced to the only the layman guys who are in the. It depends actually.
Okay.
It depends actually. But answer for your question is either you have an weighted routing policy, whether you need to increase the minimum. There are two scenarios actually. It depends actually. It depends on two scenarios. Right? That is, and coming to answer for the user data question is when you enable the check config, yes, obviously.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
Okay. If it does not give the check config, we cannot do that again. We
No,
cannot
because
open
that is
the.
called run level 3 actually. When you enable your service on run level 3, even though my system stop and start, it's going to be restart.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So any other questions, guys?
Shanmugh, so the people who are attending interview, just if they're okay, let them share the questions so that it will be helpful for others as well.
It
Apart from
depends.
the
Actually, yeah, I can
Yeah,
get the questions, but my main is mainland DevOps. That's the reason I will get to only one or two questions. Okay, no issue. I will share the questions, whatever it is, even one or two
yeah,
questions.
yeah. You can share it. You can
Okay.
share it. That's not
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, not only Gopal, so everyone. So if I attended, so I will post the questions whatever they ask, so that it will be helpful
Yeah.
for others.
Now, if you observe that this document is completely uploaded in your destination as well, like that, whatever the docs, if you're going to be uploaded on your respective existing one. If I uploaded the new one, the replication got started actually. If I upload any kind of documents, let's say suppose I'm uploading the AU's bundle file. Now the replication factor is very fastly going to replicate on your destinations. Now it will not going to take that much of time actually to replicate. Because the factor is it's already enabled the replication actually. But there should be some slightly delay, but your data going to be there in your destination as well. See, now it has uploaded as like very less delay actually. That's how it will be done. Right? So this is how the replication works. So even though you have down this respective availability zone over the region of Mumbai, it's going to be down. It's going to be there in the destination. Now coming tomorrow, we'll attach our bucket to the one of the institute instances, and then we're going to be configure our S3 bucket as a static website. Like that is how it's going to happen. I'm clear on this. Right? Yeah, you can also share the respective into different account. That is also going to work. In the while choosing the replication factor, you need to check. Right? Okay, guys, that's all for today. Jiva, I will review your assignment by tomorrow, man. Right?
No problem.
So, what about rest? Right? What about rest for you? Thank you, guys.